Okay, welcome to this next video. This is on limiting thinking styles. Some might even know them as unhelpful thinking patterns, habits. However, I don't like to see them as unhelpful because they are trying to help us in some way. However, they do limit us. So they cause doubt in the mind and they can sabotage in our lives. So think again, going back to that system one, fight or flight, it's been filtered through that system, and it's throwing up these different opinion related thoughts about that specific situation or event that we've got going on within our lives. So we're going to explore 10 of these. There will be more, but let's just keep it to 10. And what we want to do with these is really just get to know them, label them, notice what they're called so you can spot them on a day-to-day basis, and you can go, hey, there's that limiting thinking style. Okay. And when you do that, of course, you're going to create that separation between you and the pattern. It doesn't become just a thought that you're stuck in. Now it's got a name to it. Now it's got a bit of normality to it. Oh, it's just a normal human pattern that we can all fall into. And these are just basically putting them into sort of categories to of thoughts that we think on a day-to-day basis. However, these are limiting thoughts. Towards the end of this as well, what we're going to do is just look at a few different powerful questions that we can ask ourselves to help to take a step back from these limiting thoughts and help us to move forwards. So let's move on to the first one. So we've got black and white thinking or all or nothing. So very going to the extremes of things here. So this is about thinking in absolutes. It's like all or nothing. It's one way or another. There's no grey area. So noticing when your mind is moving into these extremes is going to be good for you to step back and go, okay, well, is there a middle ground to this? So these can leave us stuck, not moving forwards, because it's either I'm going to have it all or I'm going to have nothing at all. Well, if I can't have it all, then I might as well just not do anything. So examples of this, as you can see, I am a total success or a giant failure. This has to be perfect or I'm not doing it at all. And it's either this way or not at all. So again, no in between areas, no grey areas. So if you notice this going on, just take that step back and go, okay, what's that middle ground that we could look for? Next one. So catastrophizing. So taking something small and make it into the worst possible thing that could happen. So a lot of this is going to be that future focused thinking, lots of what ifs, fearing the worst in order to protect yourself or prepare yourself. So worst case scenarios, blowing things out of proportion. What ifs? It's all going to go wrong. This will lead to this, and that will be the worst. So again, your mind's trying to protect you with this. So it's doing its thing, but again, it's coming from that lower level of thinking. So if you can calm the mind down, as you can see there, we've got that whirlwind going on. Calm that whirlwind in the mind down, and then you can slowly shift back up into that system two level of thinking, which is more rational, logical. Okay, what's the actual facts here? What's the actual possibility of this happening, or is there a different possibility of something else happening, a different potential? Okay, so next one, negative filter. So this is all about seeing things through those gloomy specks, negative narrow focus, tunnel vision of gloomy view of life, lacks anything positive. So it's the opposite to like rose tinted glasses, if you've heard that expression. Basically an optimistic view of life. As we can see here, the common thoughts might be that one mistake means I'm incapable. They won't like me because it's all downhill from here. So whatever the situation or the event or whatever it might be, it's always looking at it through those gloomy specks and seeing the worst, seeing the negative, whether that be in yourself, in others, in the world, in the future. And of course, whether it's the gloomy specks look at way of things or the rose tinted glasses, again, they are extremes, and both can have qualities can be of service to us in different cases. However, this is about just taking that step back and going, okay, is this always, the way that I'm viewing things? Or can I take a step back and see it through a different way? Is there that middle ground I can find? Maybe, yeah, I don't want to be optimistic all the time. That doesn't suit me. But actually, is there that middle ground that I can step into, just to maneuver me out of this negative way of thinking that can be limiting to me? Again, negative focus can assess risks, help us to plan, take action where needed, but asking yourself, is it needed in that moment? Or is it just that my mind's programmed to seek out the negative, or I'm just in that system one level of thinking? Um, so mostly if there is danger or threat, this will of course arise, but most of the time our negative focus is just a habit built out of that fight or flight system that's just overreacting to external stimuli where it's not really needed. So again, calm the system down, find that balance, shift your way up into that rational, logical way of thinking and find something that's more serving of you. Okay, emotional reasoning. So again, when we're triggered, we can, when we're triggered, we will have emotion coming up for us. So when we feel those emotions, we have opinion related thoughts. And then, of course, those opinion related thoughts can then influence our emotions, and it becomes a bit of a negative loop. So, emotional reasoning is basically if it feels bad, it must be bad, or something bad's going to happen, and of course lacks any evidence for that because it's that opinion related thought that just gives us that quick fire opinion, because that's what it's programmed to do, because it's meant to react quickly and it's not taking into consideration all of the facts. So this is about thinking through your feelings, so seeing your emotions as and feelings as the truth, instead of taking a step back from them and going, okay, I don't need to believe everything that I feel or think. I'm going to take a step back from this, just slow things down and see things from a different angle. Sometimes this can be seen as intuitive. It could also be seen, it can be spot on. Sometimes you can be right. However, it can often be a misinterpretation of our experience. So emotions will drive opinion, as we've said, because it wants us to react fast to that potential danger or threat. But these opinions drive more emotion and physical reaction, and then they will drive more opinion, and the cycle builds. So what you feel doesn't have to equal the truth. If there is no action required right there in the moment, then just step back, breathe, and just find that balance before taking any action. Seek the facts from the opinions. So thoughts that you might be experiencing with this. So I'm feeling anxious, so something bad is going to happen. This isn't going to work. And of course, just recognizing that feeling inside. So sometimes it doesn't have to be that full sentence you're noticing inside your mind as a thought. It can just be a feeling. And I feel, therefore. So a lot of these things you might not be saying out loud to in your head, but it's just that interpretation of the feeling that you're experiencing. Okay. So judgments. So critical, condemning, finding faults in judgment in something or someone as good or bad. So it could be judging yourself, could be others, could be the world, could be life. It's all about punishment and blame. It's you're wrong, I'm right. Or it could be the other way around. I'm wrong, you're right. It's always that judgments on a right way and a wrong way. And again, always trying to put those things into like superior and inferior perspectives. And it's the mind always just trying to understand its place in the world. And it's really, as we say here as well, so it's really just putting people into a box and giving them some form of sentence or punishment, just so it can feel safe within itself. If we know the character of someone or ourselves, we understand the world better, and so have better chance of survival. So understanding creates more balance, creates more of a security, safety feel. And of course, that gives us, if we understand something, if we have that understanding over something, it gives us that better chance of survival. So again, thoughts that you may have with judgments are, I need to do better. They obviously deserved it. They're bad people. I'm a bad person, etc., etc. Okay. So next one, compare and despair. So common one, not happy with who you are or what you have, and seeing others as being or having more, and usually beating up on yourself for not being there already. Comparing your back store cupboard to someone else's shiny, good-looking shop front window display. And as we know, social media taps into this a hell of a lot. So, literally that shop front window can be seen on people's photos, on their timelines, their Instagrams, etc. It gives us, social media often gives us the highlights, but generally doesn't give us the full picture of a person's life. So rather be someone else or have the life someone else has, usually comparing with your weaknesses to others and others' strengths. Again, your backroom to somebody's shop window. So examples of this could be, they have more than me. I'm not enough, as I'm not as good as they are. They are better than me because. So it's always moving into that compare and despair to what you have or don't have in that sense. So the next one, personalization. So this is about taking things personally. Feels like it's all about you. You're the one to blame, taking 100% responsibility for something. Usually connected to a deeper sense of worth or value within yourself. Literally like someone is pressing that unworthy or not enough button. Just through what somebody might say to you, you might often you might even overhear someone saying something, and you take things to heart. You take it personally. We can react in a defensive or attacking way, and sometimes it can be passive aggressive. We can agree that it is our fault or we are to blame, but but we do it in an aggressive way. This might not be seen by others, but we could go internally within us, and this brings up resentment, bitterness, anger, etc. And that, of course, can bubble over. We can really believe that it is our fault as well, or we could just be agreeing to avoid conflict. So again, going into that fawn response, we're just pacifying our own feelings, and again, this can spark those internal struggles if we're not allowing those feelings to be recognised, to be passed, and let go of. And do recognise this as an internal struggle with yourself over the question of your worth or enoughness. And of course, if we cast judgment on ourselves as the one to blame, then our immediate reaction can be, I need to do better. I need to be better. I should have known better. I should have done more. It's beating ourselves up with that stick and agreeing that we're not enough. So it's moving into that belief of going, okay, yeah, I'm not enough, and I need to be somewhere, or be somewhere more, or be someone else, really. So again, bringing in the judgments here as well, compare and despair. So it's all sort of connecting with each other in these different limiting thinking patterns. So again, examples could be, it's my fault, I'm the one to blame, I should have known better. Okay, so the next one is shoulds and musts. So this is all about high expectations, unrealistic standards. Can be useful, but also can be potentially unreasonable. Can put potentially unreasonable pressure onto yourself or others through unrealistic expectations or standards. So, if you're setting yourself high standards, it's got a good chance these will overflow when interacting with other people, home life, work life, etc. So it can and will cross boundaries of past and future. So yourself now telling your past self, you should have known better. Um, Examples: you should have done, you must do it this way, I shouldn't have said that. Um, However, when we're thinking about, judging ourselves in the past and, that I should have done this, uh, you didn't have that experience to learn from before. Maybe you did, but maybe it's just another level of that now. So if you didn't have that experience of knowing better, because you didn't have that knowledge, then of course there would have been, still something to learn there. And of course, maybe, it's just that experience that you needed in order to go, okay, now I get it. Now I get it. Now I can make those improvements. Okay, I can change that going forwards, and now I can put that in place. So, the shoulds and musts you can get stuck in that place of beating up on yourself and then falling into the trap of just setting yourself even higher standards and higher expectations. And that just keeps the cycle going of stress, anxiety, and pain, really. Okay, next one. So, overgeneralization. So, think here about the words you are using within a sentence. So, exaggerating the truth of an experience, sometimes taking it to extremes without any real proof. The words that we might use here are always, never, everyone, everything. Again, it's going to those extremes. It's overgeneralizing something. Examples: you always do that. That will never happen. Everyone will be there. Again, perceiving things in extremes without the evidence to back it up. And of course, seeing things in these ways can hinder us and keep us stuck, as it paints a picture that can seem overwhelming or even impossible when we're trying to move into something or achieve a goal. And the last one, so prediction. So this is where we will get that crystal ball out and just start predicting what will happen in any given situation. So we may not know or have the facts to back it up, but the mind will draw on past experiences to fall into making assumptions about future outcomes. And that's what the mind will always do. That part of the mind, anyway, that system one level of thinking, it will always be connecting to your memories and your past experiences to go, okay, well, this happened before, so it's going to happen again. And that's why we need to, be rising up into that system two level to be sending down those messages and new instructions to go, hey, that doesn't have to happen. What if it was to happen this way? What if I went out there, I got the evidence and the experience to go, okay, well, this happened here. Okay, let's program that into the subconscious mind. And then that can be a new experience to build on for next time and next time. So again, with prediction, it's all about trying to prepare us and help us to avoid things, situations that could be painful or a threat to us and to our identity. Sometimes it can be useful to predict what will happen, but moving to using this as a tool, taking a step back, reckoning we've got that ability to predict to the future of what will happen, but do it from that system two place. Do it from that higher level of thinking instead of that reactional, emotional way that's probably just based upon opinion and is just geared to moving us away from fear and pain. So notice when it's operating unconsciously, basically, and hindering you, and just step into using it more consciously, productively, and something that's serving you instead of sabotaging you. So as we've got here, thinking, we know what will happen in the future, giving more weight to one specific outcome over another, often predicting worst case and unhelpful scenarios that keep us stuck. So I won't be able to cope. If this happens, then that will happen. It's going to be a nightmare. So if we've got that, that clear picture of what we think will happen in the future, I won't be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to cope. Well, of course, those are the thoughts that you're having, which you're going to be sending more down to the subconscious mind. You're going to be getting more of those feelings of anxiety, worry, etc. And it's just going to keep that cycle going, which is going to keep you stuck in that place, not moving forwards. So again, a limiting thinking pattern if not used consciously. Okay, so that's all the limiting thinking patterns out the way with. So let's just move into a few of these powerful questions that we can ask ourselves that will lead to powerful answers. So a lot of the time, as you've seen with those past limiting patterns there, it could be questions of what if, or, what will I do if this happens? It's all of those look into the future, look into that worst case or prediction, or just moving into the negative outlook of something that's not really serving us. And of course, within that, we're going to be asking questions. When we are asking questions of, what will go wrong, the subconscious mind will go away and it will come back and go, well, this could go wrong, or this could go wrong, and so on and so on. So of course, those questions will create even more limiting answers, limiting thoughts, limiting images, and of course the feelings to go along with them. So this is all, it's all focused from that system one level of thinking. The possibility of failure, the possibility of danger, threats, whether it be physical or a threat to our identity. And it's really what we don't want. We want those supportive thoughts, serving thoughts that are driving us forwards. And of course, this system one level of thinking, it's all geared towards this. It's all geared towards protection, to seek out that risk and that threat. So we need to move into this place of asking better questions and you'll get better answers. So remember that. Ask better questions and you'll get better answers. And again, it all starts with calming that system down first, because if you're in it, you're just in it. So you've got to notice that you're in it, calm it down, and then slowly just refocus on something else. Slowly just find a little bit of space between you and those thinking and thoughts, so they go, okay, what would be a better question to ask here? So again, when we ask that question, ask a question to the subconscious mind, it will go away and it will find us an answer. But we need to set it up with the rightly focused question that's pointing us in the direction we want to be going, which is forwards. So think, is it a question of survival? Is it about survive, or is it a question of thrive? Is it a question of survive, or is it a question of thrive? And if you're asking a question of, what if the worst happens, then of course, guess what? Your subconscious mind will start playing through the imagery of that worst case scenario, because it wants you to plan for that. It wants you to prepare for that. Well, if that's going to happen, we need to figure that out. We need to figure out what's going to happen in all scenarios. And of course, there could be hundreds of potential outcomes which could leave you, just playing it over and over in your mind all day long, just feeling anxious, driving more what if thoughts, driving more worry, and playing out scenarios, and so on and so on. So ask better questions, give your subconscious mind better directions and instructions to work with. So we've got a few key ones here. So just taking that step back, find your balance first and going, okay, is this helpful or unhelpful? Just that simple. Is it helpful? Is this way of thinking helpful or unhelpful? In this moment, is my thinking helping me move towards my goals or away from them? And of course, there will be that level of, well, I just can't stop the thoughts. You don't need to stop them. Just notice them, breathe, find your balance, just calm it down, refocus on something else. Find that gap where you can just ask yourself that better question. What would be a better what would a better feeling thought be right now? What would be a thought that would help me to move me in that direction that I want to go? And you don't have to believe it. It's not about, I need to believe that thought in order to move with it. Just ask it, what would be a better feeling thought to have right now? And okay, the next one. So what if I didn't think that? What if I didn't think that? Of course, all of a sudden, if you're asking that question, you're opening up your mind to then go, actually, well, if I didn't think that, what would I think? All of a sudden, the mind go, well, maybe you'd think the opposite. All of a sudden, there's a new thought, a new option that comes to mind. And what would be a different way of looking at this? You're taking a step back, you're taking off those blinkers, You're opening your mind up into a new way of looking at it. And of course, that can feel a bit uncomfortable at times as well, because the mind wants to thinks that it's got your, well, it does have your best interests at heart. However, and it thinks that those thinking habits are the way to find you relief in some sort of way, because again, it's trying to get you away from that danger or threat, or what it perceives as that way. So by taking a step back and opening up your way of thinking, yes, it's a bit challenging, it's a bit uncomfortable. You're not going to believe it straight away, but just take that small step into a different way of thinking and just see what the different outcome will be. And what would be most helpful to believe or think right now? And again, saying the same thing really, isn't it? It's just opening up that box, thinking outside the box a little bit. What would be the most helpful for me right now to believe or think? So find that space, find that balance, step back and ask yourself a better, more powerful question. Okay, I'll leave you with that. Practice those powerful questions this week. Notice those unhelpful, limiting patterns, limiting thinking patterns, and just start to notice them and label them and go, okay, yeah, there it is again. I'm doing that prediction thing. I'm doing that catastrophizing or compare and despair thing again. Again, it's just normal human thinking that's just programmed at that fight or flight level. So just notice it, maybe even make a tally of the different ones that you're thinking, take that step back and then go, okay, where can I find my balance? Now let's ask a powerful question and write these down if you want to, just so you've got them to hand as you move throughout the week and moving forwards. Okay, I will see you soon.